Thanks, Buhle. Award-winning author, filmmaker and activist Tsitsi Dangarembga has been named as the Pinter PEN 2021 prize winner for outstanding literary merit. The nervous conditions and this Mournable Body author has garnered international attention for those two books. Dangarembga was shortlisted for another international award, the 2020 Booker Prize. She's also recognized as a fierce activist who's been very vocal about corruption and injustice in her home country of Zimbabwe. Guess what? She joins us now to tell us more about this. Tsitsi, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. You have been praised for your ability to capture and communicate vital truths even amidst times of upheaval. What a fantastic achievement. What does it mean to you?
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me. Winning the PEN Pinter Prize really is one of the best things to have happened to me in my career. And this is because PEN was actually established to promote friendship and intellectual cooperation amongst writers. And so it means that it is other writers who know the craft, who know how difficult it is to produce, especially to produce in environments that are not resourced, that are not very free in terms of expression, in environments that do not have a culture of narrative fiction. And so for writers who are aware of all of those issues, to think that my work is good and excellent and worthy of being recognized and awarded really is a huge encouragement to me, especially after I've been writing for going on to 4 decades now. It really is good to have this kind of recognition as I go into the last third of my career.
Absolutely. You speak about the different environments, whether or not they're conducive enough to let you, define your craft as an artist, as an author, as a filmmaker, and as an activist. I mean, the activist element of this conversation is really important because your pull to activism came at a price. You were arrested last year and charged with intention to incite public violence. Let's talk a little bit now about the meaning and how far this process has taken you. You know, I mean, now you were prohibited from expressing yourself, but you were merely coming out to oppose corruption.
Yes, Paul. For me, I see myself as somebody who looks at social transformation as a norm. Even in an individual, we begin small and we grow and we transform in different ways, physically, intellectually, emotionally, as we go through that process. So for me, the process of social transformation and social change and social growth is a norm. And I like to chart the course of that process. I like to look at how this process is intertwined with the lives of individuals in my writing, in my production. And so the situation in Zimbabwe became quite difficult for me. For example, we had power cuts, like 15-hour power cuts, if not more. It meant that I couldn't work. People then had their generators going on, or I had my own generator going on. That was not conducive to writing. Some people in the world had branded me as being a ZANU-PF operative, and so it was very difficult for me to get any recognition for my work anywhere. It just wasn't looked at, especially when I was making film. Here in Zimbabwe, I was branded as an opposition and someone who is against the government. So this location of saying I want to look at the situation as it is will obviously mean that one is engaging with power. Whichever side it is on, it might be that side or this side. If you're looking at reality, you will be looking at how power and constellations and systems of power affect the individual. So in that whole situation, it became very difficult for me to operate at all. And so it was necessary for me to engage not so much with my pen, but with my intellect and with my body, because I had no other means of expression. And so that is what made me engage with some of the calls to go out to demonstrate for different things. I have demonstrated about the economic policy in Zimbabwe several years ago. I have demonstrated for the release of Hope Pearl. I've done individual demonstrations myself. One of the individual ones being, as I said, for the release of Hope Pearl, one of the journalists here, when he was arrested last year and kept in jail before he had a trial. So these are all things that I could see were impacting on the lives of individuals such as myself. And I felt, well, if I am not able to engage with these through my cultural and artistic production, which is what I wanted to do, but which I was prevented from doing by the different constellations of power that impact on me as a Zimbabwean woman, black, of a certain age, based in Zimbabwe. I felt I couldn't just sit down and weep. I had to do something about it. So that is why I then decided that I would lend my support to some of these issues. And yes, on one of my demonstrations, I was arrested. This was not a solitary demonstration. A certain politician in Zimbabwe had called for a mass demonstration last year on July 31, which was a significant day as it marked the polls in 2018, which went on to have a very sad result on August the 1st, 2018, when people demonstrated and some Zimbabweans were killed. So I felt that this was a good cause for me to lend my support to and to be seen to be supporting. And so I went out on the street for that. And yes, I was arrested. And because I was arrested, it became news. As I said, I have been demonstrating on different things that I wish to lend my support to acknowledge as good issues for Zimbabweans to be engaging with for quite a while, and I had not been arrested. So it really was the fact of my arrest that turned this particular action of mine into something more significant than it otherwise would have been.
And how far is your case? Because I know that a group of writers had been calling for this matter to be dropped. Where are you standing with the courts?
Well, at the moment, I'm a little bit in limbo with that, because there was a hearing on April the 9th to clear up some of the matters going forward into trial, and I was not in the country. I was in Stellenbosch because previously a judge had relaxed my bail conditions so that I could go to Stellenbosch for a 5-month residency. And so since I wasn't able to attend that particular hearing because of the requirement for me to be in Stellenbosch for that fellowship, an issue of arrest was, a warrant of arrest was issued for me. So I'm back in Zimbabwe now, and I'm dealing with that. I was told it was a technicality, that if somebody does not appear...
Okay, so as we, go back to the depth of your career and your accolades and awards, you've been described as an unusual, an exemplary career, described as a person with those with those merits. And the matter that stands out is the impact of your work on people's lives and the messaging that you want to send out. I mean, you've just spoken about how you want important issues to be recognized by Zimbabweans, for instance. How important is it for you to continue in your storytelling, in your line of work, to really make a bold impact that changes lives?
This is absolutely important to me, Paul. I try not to align myself with power. Of course, as a human being, I have certain perspectives, and these perspectives may, at this point in time, align with this political power system or that political power system, and that can change. Those alignments can change over time because they are mine. But I feel it's really important for individuals to understand their position and why their lives are the way they are. And the fact is, our lives are affected by power constellations. There are things we all want to do, desires and dreams that we have that we find derailed because of certain pressures pushing back on us. And I think it is good for people to know that, because by knowing that, it means that you do not internalize failure. You do not think that it is your existence as a human being that is worthless. What I want to do is to celebrate the existence of each person that I can conceive of and imagine in my literature, starting with what I see around me here in Zimbabwe, and bring all those existences to fruition. We are created for a reason. We are created to be part of this world, and so our expression of ourselves in our fullest possible way is our way of recognizing the fact that we have been created, and that is the space that I try to create in my literature.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time, and lovely hearing from you, winning a Pinter Prize for Outstanding Literary Merit. That, of course, is Tsitsi Dangarembga, author, filmmaker, and activist, bringing us some insight on this fantastic accolade and what it means for her, especially as an activist.